NFL fans? Are you ready? This is the podcast on all things NFL. The fantasy football players you should sit, ones you should start, guest speakers, game recaps, pre-game predictions, plus live call-ins from viewers, and so much more. Welcome to NFL Talk Live with your hosts, Reading Ravens 1 and Alex, aka PurpleSwordfish.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another NFL Talk Live podcast, Week 7 edition. Appreciate you all stopping by. I am your host, Reigning Ravens 1, followed by my co-host, Alex, aka PurpleSwordfish. And we are joined this week by guest host, Great One DeVore. You guys know plenty about me, and you know plenty about Alex. If you don't know about Alex, his link is down below. But this week, our featured guest is Great One DeVore. Great One, pleasure having you on the stream, man. And you want to tell everyone about what it is you do on YouTube?
First off, I'd like to appreciate you guys having me on the podcast. Y'all all know who I am, Great One DeVore. You know I'm the one that always puts the pause on Rainer, Raven, and Madden. You can get it to PurpleSwordfish if you want. But I provide a lot of Miami Dolphins news, insight, up close and personal. And also do a lot of streaming on the side as well.
He does. So, and if you want to subscribe to Great One DeVore, his link is also in the description. So him and Alex, a.k.a. PurpleSwordfish. So Alex, dude, I don't know what happened last week, but I am coming off of my worst week ever. For the first time all year long, I have more games picked incorrectly than correctly. I went 6-8 on week 6. I don't know what your overall was. Did you do a quick tally of that?
6-8.
Also 6-8. Okay. A couple surprises, man. Couple surprises. Actually, more than a couple surprises, obviously. Otherwise, I would have picked them right. Let's go ahead and show some of the matchups from week 6 that I found to be. I felt good. I felt like you and I were on the top of the world when Thursday night the Eagles upset the Panthers. I don't know if it really was an upset, but they were both 4-1 teams. How good did you feel after that one?
Well, I felt pretty good considering I took so much flack last week for taking the Eagles, and I continued to take flack throughout the week, even after they won, by calling them the second best team in the NFC. But
you did.
I'm doubling down on it. I think they're the second best team in the NFC, and you might even be able to slot them at number 1, and I'll get to that later.
Okay. Yeah, I feel really good about the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Obviously, unfortunate news coming out of Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers out for the year. Anthony Barr tackled him and broke his clavicle, which will require surgery, the team reports. So he is done for the year. They're going to have the hand off the keys to Brett Hundley. Let's see what he can do. So that was a big surprise, obviously. Who expects Aaron Rodgers, arguably the best quarterback right now, playing to be out for the year? How about this for a surprise? The Miami Dolphins. Great One DeVore, you got to chime in on this one. How did your boys end up making the Atlanta Falcons choke a big lead again and come back and get the victory? How?
Well, here's the thing. As far as on tape offensively, we were looking like a bunch of dead bodies out there. I'm not even going to lie to you. So with that being said, the Falcons had no offensive tape on us. So we could throw out anything, and we could basically go out and win the game. And, of course, you know how Matt Ryan is. He turns the ball over at a high rate with his game time. So
He does.
With that being said, Jay cut it loose.
Man. I knew the Ravens and Bears game was going to be a close one. I didn't think it was going to be this close. Overtime close, rather. That one caught me by surprise. Mitchell Trubisky, maybe he is as good as we think he is. And dare I say, the Bears could be who we thought they were. Other than that, I mean, all the other games are pretty close. Giants obviously upsetting the whole nation, getting their first win of the year. Alex, does anything else jump out at you from week 6?
Nothing at all. I mean, just overall, really surprising week in a couple regards. I mean, the Steelers really surprised me on Sunday. Did not expect them to have such a strong showing against the Chiefs. I know that one's a little bit closer than the score would indicate, but still a very impressive win. And I feel like the Steelers are back, baby. They're ready to make that playoff run.
They are, unfortunately for my team and every other team in the AFC North. They are back. So, hot topic of the day. Unless you're living under a rock, you have to know what's going on in the NFL right now. And it's not just in the NFL, but all the news sources, major news sources are picking up on this. I'm always about transparency with you guys. I did not want to address this topic because I feel like it's overly political, and I really didn't want the show to be that way. But there's a way to address this that doesn't involve politics, and I'm so glad for Alex. First of all, what a blessing Alex is for me to be my co-host, another pair of ears and eyes. He said, no, you don't have to look at it that way. We can discuss it in the most basic form. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be touching on the whole Colin Kaepernick collusion case and whether or not he has one right now. I know a lot of you guys might not feel comfortable listening to this, but hey, you're just listening to a bunch of average Joes right now discuss the situation. I'm going to go ahead and say it, dude. I've been watching the NFL before Colin Kaepernick showed up, and now after he's gone, and I've kind of seen trends. I'm all about timelines, like, you know, what happened that caused this? What happened to cause this? So today, Colin Kaepernick files a collusion suit with the NFL, and what that means is he believes, he strongly believes this, otherwise he wouldn't have filed it. He believes that all 32 of the NFL owners got together in some kind of like secret meeting and agreed upon this one fact, that they would not, under any circumstances, accept Colin Kaepernick as one of their 53 men on their roster. And I don't know. I think that claim is unfounded. I think largely perpetrated by, you know, social media, social justice warriors even. Honestly, I think what really, really has deflected Colin Kaepernick from playing in the NFL is his surrounding. His supporting cast is awful. He had a positive upbringing. He actually grew up in a very well-off Christian family, and you know, he had everything he wanted. You know, life was set for him, so he didn't really have the struggle and everything else that he's protesting for right now. And I commend him, though, for thinking about those who have not, and that have not gone or are going through stuff that he has not gone through. So I commend him that much, okay? But his supporting cast in his life, everyone from his family to his girlfriend to his PR manager, to even his agent. All his supporting cast, in my opinion, are not doing their job. I'm going to start with his girlfriend. Ever since he got with his girlfriend, this was like 2 years ago now, things have been going downwards for him. I understand, men, you have to respect your women. You know, I get that. You have to kind of have a second opinion. You have to let them do some of the thinking for you. But, dude, she is his mouthpiece on the news, on social media, on SportsCenter even. Dude, I will never forget, right? When Joe Flacco went down earlier in the year, the Ravens were looking for a backup quarterback because, you know what, Ryan Mallett was possibly going to be our starting guy, and a lot of Ravens fans were not happy about that. So, what did we do? We gave Colin Kaepernick a try. We flew him into Baltimore, we tried him out, and hey, he wasn't our guy. It just didn't work out. Under any other circumstances, this is a very normal thing, by the way. People come out and try out for teams and don't make it. It's a very, very normal thing. But look how it was handled. His girlfriend gets on social media right away, as soon as the news breaks that the Ravens are no longer interested in Colin Kaepernick. What'd she do? She called the Ravens owner, Steve Bisciotti, a blatant racist and a bigot. And she went further, saying that every other owner in the NFL is also a racist and bigot for not offering her boyfriend a job. Now, here's one thing. That should not be acceptable. For his girlfriend to be out there making claims without first having talked to his agent or his PR guy, that is not acceptable. We're dealing on too high of a scale here. We're talking about professional football players. These guys pay their agents loads to handle this stuff. It's not your girlfriend's job, bro. Give it to your agent. And it's just like, I don't understand why he continues to do this. Still to this day, he haven't really said much. People are saying stuff for him, and actually that whole message of him kneeling for the flag and stuff, at first it made sense. Now it's like nobody even knows what they're kneeling for. You know, like it doesn't make sense. People interlocking arms, they're kneeling before the flag and before the national anthem. It's just so confusing. I just think that it's maybe not handled the best way, and the message that was once good has now been lost and has fallen upon deaf ears, in my opinion. I don't know. Alex, what do you make of that, bro? What do you make of this?
So before I get into the collusion claim, I think it's worth mentioning I don't really have a huge problem with players kneeling, sitting on the bench, staying in the tunnel, whatever for the national anthem. I realize it's a personal choice. I'm a big believer, as a libertarian, I'm a big believer in First Amendment rights, and I think that goes with it. However, when it comes to proving collusion, that's a very difficult thing to prove. And when you look at the history of sports in America, it's been a very hard thing to take to court and win. The only case I was able to find where players were able to prove collusion and win was in 1985 in baseball. And it had to do with free agency rights. Teams were doing things so that guys couldn't hit the free agent market. When it comes to Colin Kaepernick, I think his biggest issue is not the kneeling or the circus that comes with it. Because let's just be honest, any player that kneels, sits down, does anything other than stand up with their hand over their heart, it becomes a media circus now. And it's a little disappointing that we focus on that instead of other issues in our country. But nevertheless, politics aside, I think as a case for collusion, he's going to have a very hard time proving it for two reasons. One, there are many players before him, during his run with the 49ers, and after him who have done the same thing and still have jobs and are employed in the NFL. That's number one, where I think it's very hard for him to prove collusion. Number two is, you know, how can I put it? If they didn't want to sign him, he wouldn't have workouts with the Seahawks. He wouldn't have workouts with the Ravens. Yeah. So he went to both teams. They saw something. They didn't sign him. And then, like, if we're going to talk about rumor and innuendo, you know, there's rumors out there that he did have offers, but it wasn't a situation that he wanted to go into, whether it was financially or from a playing time perspective. So those rumors are out there. I don't know. They're from unknown sources, and we all know how far that goes. But nevertheless, my thing is, I don't think he has a case against the NFL for collusion purposes. And then the fact that people are talking about the CBA would be completely null and void because of this case. You would have to prove 14 or more teams were actively colluding against one player for the CBA to be terminable by the Players Association. And what I thought was really interesting about this, and then I'll let it go, I did think it was really interesting that Colin Kaepernick did this of his own accord, did not loop in the NFLPA whatsoever. So his biggest advocate, he kept them out of this process, which I think is a little questionable. And I have a really hard time believing the NFLPA, even if he somehow wins this case, which I don't think he will, even if he somehow wins it, I just don't see them wanting to terminate the CBA because it's actually a really good one for the players right now. So, you know, that's kind of my 2 cents on it. All the politics aside, I don't think he wins this case. And I think it's a little absurd to say, hey, I tried out for 2 teams, didn't get signed, and they're colluding against me. Right.
I agree. You know, if they're colluding against you, they're not going to give you a chance to try out. You know, that's something to take into a factor in. What about you, Great One? What do you think about this?
Honestly, looking back at the 2016 season, he didn't start the season. That's number one.
Right.
Blaine Gabbert was the starter, and I kind of look at it as a publicity stunt going wrong for Colin Kaepernick because of the fact that he wasn't the starter. And I felt that he was on his way out of San Francisco anyway, and he's just drawing a little bit of attention to himself. And I want to add the Dolphins in there too, because the Dolphins were an option for Colin Kaepernick to go to
Before Jay Cutler. Before Jay Cutler.
Yeah, before Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler was on the table. Now, the reason why we didn't end up signing Colin Kaepernick was because he decided to wear a Fidel Castro and a Malcolm X T-shirt before the game our week against the San Francisco 49ers. And it was a big story because Kiko Alonso was Cuban, and he ended up making the game-saving tackle. So.
Yep.
And our beat writer, Armando Salguero, he's Cuban too, and he got into an interview with Colin Kaepernick, and Armando Salguero found him very disrespectful as far as towards Cubans. So that aside right there, that took away any chance for Colin Kaepernick to ever sign with the Miami Dolphins, because when the Cubans were exiled from Cuba, they're going to Miami, and so but the population for a Cuban is about 60% if I looked at that correct. But
right. There's a very, very large Cuban population in Florida, especially in Miami.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So fast forwarding up to this year, when I look at all the quarterbacks that have gone down, like recently is Aaron Rodgers. Now I honestly think him filing this claim is bad timing as usual, like what his girlfriend did with the whole the Twitter post with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think that the Green Bay Packers would have gave him a serious look, but like I said, bad timing. But I'm gonna agree with Swordfish. It's going to be extremely hard to prove that they're just out to get Colin Kaepernick. Now you look at the fact that Colin Kaepernick, I honestly think the risk doesn't outweigh the reward. I don't think Colin Kaepernick's that talented, and then you add the whole distraction to it. That's just not gonna. It's just not going to be.
It doesn't bode well for him either way. I agree. But anyway, that's our 2 cents on the whole Kaepernick thing. You may agree or disagree. That's just what it is from our perspective, and that's just 3 guys. So, and 3 guys from very different backgrounds at that. So, with that said, let's move on to our Week 7 picks. Man, we are almost at the midway point of the NFL season. It's unbelievable. It feels like just yesterday the season started, but. We're starting Week 7 off on a strong note. The Thursday night games lately have been pretty fire. I must say that. I like what they're doing, and we're having the Chiefs facing off the Raiders. Dude, AFC West battle right here, man. These 2 teams play each other tough, man. And guess what? They are both coming off of a loss. Both of these teams coming off of a loss this week. Oakland has now lost 4 straight games. 4 straight games. But I don't count them out yet. Why? Because there's way too much talent on this team for me to think that they can't be successful. And I think the Raiders, they just acquired Navarro Bowman from the 49ers, which is a big key addition for that defense. Quick side note, Kansas City Chiefs have won their last 5 meetings with Oakland. Derek Carr, his status, I don't know. He's playing, but he doesn't appear to be playing at 100% because he's coming off of an injury. I'm very unsure of his health, and I think he is as well. Didn't play well last week, that's for sure. A couple interesting matchups in this one. Not really matchups, but like player-for-player comparisons. One to look at is Tyreek Hill versus Crabtree. See how those 2 guys perform. Those guys are the X factors for both teams. Another X factor for both teams is Kareem Hunt versus Marshawn Lynch of the Raiders. Right now, I think offensively these 2 teams are very, very similar. I will give the slight edge right now. It comes down to quarterback play and defense play. And for me, the Kansas City Chiefs win both of those matchups. I'm taking the Chiefs this week. Alex?
So this is a really, really good Thursday night matchup, just like last week. And, man, I can't wait to watch this one. These 2 teams always play each other really hard. It's kind of like Ravens-Steelers. It's always a good game, an entertaining one to watch. So, me personally, I really am high on the Chiefs. You guys know that. I've been saying they're the best football team in the NFL right now. I still believe that after last week's loss. I think Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Alex Smith, that offense that was really stifled by Pittsburgh's sneaky good defense that continues to shock me week in, week out with how good their defense is. I think they're going to rebound this week against the defense that I just don't think is as good. When it comes to the Raiders, I think it's great that they have Derek Carr back, but I agree with you, Double R. He doesn't look completely healthy. For that reason, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do think they cover the spread here.
Okay. Great one, DeVore.
I'm going to go with the underdog today.
Okay.
And I say this because I'm a huge Navarro Bowman fan, and I think his impact as the middle linebacker for the Oakland Raiders will clean up that defense. And I think the Oakland Raiders need to rely a little bit more on that game because that offensive line is top 5 in the league right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders underdog.
So you're taking the underdog. Okay.
Absolutely.
I respect that. And then Sunday morning, or for us on the West Coast here, football starts at 10 a.m. That was something to get used to once moving out here to Las Vegas. But, okay, Sunday morning for me, noon games for you guys on the East Coast, or Central Time Zone, 1 p.m. for you guys on the East Coast. Arizona, 3-3 Arizona Cardinals taking on the 4-2 L.A. Rams. Rams playing at home in this contest. Rams right now are playing a very good brand of football. The defense seemingly gets better by the week, it seems like. And Todd Gurley remains one of the league's top rushers as it stands right now. A key addition to the Cardinals, obviously you saw last week, was how much Adrian Peterson means to the Cardinals. He really added a spark to a team that did not have they severely lacked a running game. Since losing David Johnson, I think Adrian Peterson, that was a very, very key addition to him. And actually, it proved to be multiple. It had multiple effects on the team because look at how it affected the passing game. The Cardinals' offense right now is very balanced. It allows Carson Palmer to do his thing. Carson Palmer was 18 of 22 for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns in this contest. You got to make the defense play honest, and with Adrian Peterson out there, they're going to play that way. That running game was too successful, in my opinion. I think the Rams can stop Adrian Peterson and these Arizona Cardinals running the ball and force the game to lie on Carson Palmer's shoulders. And another thing to consider, can Arizona's struggling offensive line handle and block Aaron Donald? I don't think they can. I'm taking the LA Rams playing at home. My key starter in fantasy for this one is going to have to be either Jared Goff or Todd Gurley. You got those two guys, start them. And Cooper Kupp, too. What about you, Alex?
Well, the Rams continue to impress week in, week out. Jared Goff has really stepped it up year over year. It's amazing what the coaching staff has done with him. People were really starting to question him as a number 1 overall pick a year ago. Nobody's doing that anymore. And I got to say, the Rams, they're still scoring the most of anybody in the NFL right now. I never would have picked that going into the season. What concerns me is their defense. So they are really bad defending the run. They've gotten better as a unit in terms of scoring over the year, but they are still bottom 5 in the league against the run. So Adrian Peterson's going to have a really good game. If you got him in fantasy, probably a good guy to play. Anybody playing the Rams this year as a running back is always a solid play. However, I think the Arizona defense has a better reputation than it really is. It's actually bottom 5 in the league right now in points scored against. And I don't think a lot of people had that going into the season either. So with that and the offense still not looking completely cohesive, even with the addition of Adrian Peterson, I'm taking the Rams at home.
Okay. All right. So you're actually believing. You're a believer in this Arizona Cardinals rushing game under AP.
Be better. I don't think. Yeah, I think it'll be better, but I don't think it's going to be. The O-line is still not good. AD brings a lot to the table, and the Rams are really bad against the run, but I don't think it's going to fix all their problems.
Okay. Great one.
When it comes to the Rams, I don't believe in Jared Goff yet. He hasn't showed me enough. Like Alex said earlier, the run defense for the Rams is not that great. I'm sworn toward the Cardinals side because of the fact that dynamic of Adrian Peterson coming in, running the ball, gives Carson Palmer the opportunity to do the play action passes. And when the Oakland Raiders may seem to load the box trying to stop the run, that opposes a threat of Jerron Brown and John Brown to go over the top for deep passes, which Carson Palmer likes to throw. But that offensive line is a little bit shaky, but I think they'll keep the defense honest with that running game. So I'm going with Arizona.
You're also going with Arizona. Okay, you guys are going to leave me hanging out to dry. I'm the only one picking the Rams. I hear you. Okay. Then we got the oh my goodness, do we have to talk about this game? The 3-3 Baltimore Ravens taking on the 4-2 Minnesota Vikings. The battle of the two purple teams in the league. Dude, Ravens are one of those teams I don't understand. We are the most politically correct PC team in the entire league. And what I mean by that is we're not offensive at all. We are baseline trash. Absolutely pathetic offensively. We're putting too much pressure on our defense, and it's making them fold. The offense keeps throwing the ball away, and here we go, Ravens defense back on the field. We have absolutely no playmakers on offense. That's just what it is. That's the fact. We have no playmaker on offense. Flacco can't carry the team by himself, and we lack a really good rushing game. We don't have one. Alex Collins has breakout plays, but it only happens like once or twice a game. We need him to average better yards per touch. Right now, I think he's getting like 2 yards. It's not good enough, and it really is not good enough, and it's not good enough to put up points, and we're not putting up points offensively. Whereas the Vikings right now look on a completely different spectrum. Casey Keenum, one of PurpleSwordfish's favorite guys in the NFL right now. He doesn't want to say so, but he knows he is. Getting 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a combined average of 93.1 QBR. Doing pretty good. And let me say he's doing pretty good without much of a run game. So, and that's just offensively. Defensively, Vikings are killing it. They're playing excellent defense right now, which is even worse news if you're a Ravens fan, because guess what? We can't score touchdowns. Vikings defense being good is terrible news for us. I have this being a low-scoring game regardless, though. I think the Ravens defense is going to hold it down a little bit, but not hold it down to the point where we win the game. By the way, obviously I'm picking the Vikings in this game, but by the way, big shout-out and mad respect to Mike Zimmer of the Minnesota Vikings. This dude lost his quarterback twice, back-to-back years, and he's somehow managed to get a winning record out of it. Hey, that earns my respect. Mike Zimmer, you got my respect, and this week your team's got my respect. Going against my Baltimore Ravens, taking the Vikings. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I'm officially off the Ravens bandwagon. I thought this was a fringe playoff team, but I just don't see it anymore. The defense is good. It's middle of the road, and they give the offense chances to win ball games, but that offense is just so wildly inconsistent.
It is.
Drive to drive. I don't know what I'm going to get from the Ravens offense. It's just that.
Exactly.
It's so all over the place. Meanwhile, the Vikings, they're overcoming all odds. I mean, they lost Dalvin Cook. They lost Sam Bradford. They didn't have Teddy Bridgewater to begin with. Casey Keenum is exceeding expectations in that defense that I was talking all kinds of junk about the Vikings D isn't that good. They're top 5 in the league right now, so prove me wrong there. I got the Vikings in this one. And if you're looking for someone to play in fantasy, I would tell you Stephon Diggs, if he's playing, is always a good move. Casey Keenum is going to be available in a lot of leagues. Good streaming option. Mm-hmm. So those will be my 2 picks. Oh, also Latavius Murray.
Yes.
Available in a lot of leagues and available for cheap if you need to trade for him. Always a good pickup.
And I'll even go a step further. Latavius Murray has not had a great season so far through these first 6 weeks, but I think he's going to have a great week this week. So just to
Absolutely.
piggyback on what you just said. Great one, DeVore.
I don't even have to be biased this week for this pick. I'm going to go ahead and take the Vikings because y'all don't have an identity as far as the Baltimore Ravens on offense. Nobody wants to catch. Y'all don't have a running game. That's that's Joe Flacco's bread and butter. He got to have that running game. That Minnesota Vikings defense, they're going to wreak havoc on the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm most definitely going to go with the Vikings. And also in fantasy, please start the Minnesota Vikings defense. Joe Flacco going to throw at least 3 picks.
Oh man, I had a feeling that one's coming. I had a feeling. Okay. All right, so we're all on the Vikings, a team we can all agree on. Excellent. Moving on then, we got the 3-3 Jacksonville Jaguars going up into Indianapolis, taking on a 2-4 Indianapolis Colts. Before I say this, I believe Andrew Luck, as of this morning, received some cortisone shots, but is still listed as out for this Sunday's matchup against the Jaguars. So, Jacoby Brissett, he's still got the keys to the Ferrari. This is going to be a huge AFC South divisional battle. There could be some playoff implications here for the Jacksonville Jaguars, being that they are in the AFC South, and really right now there's not much competition down there. One thing I want to commend the Jacksonville Jaguars for doing is they're 3-3. Last year, in 2016, they finished with a final record of 3-13. So already they have as many wins as they had all of last year. So shout out to Jacksonville for that one. And actually, one of those 3 wins they got last year was, guess what, against the Colts. And I think it'll happen again this week. Jacksonville, though, man, this is a team that does not know how to handle prosperity. They had so many giveaways. The team packaged a game to them. Like he said, here, win the game. It's all yours, Jacksonville. And they would not win it. How many takeaways do they have on defense, and they still cannot win? I don't get that. You have to be appreciative of those giveaways. You have to capitalize on them, score points. That's what you need to do. Colts, as I just said, they're playing Jacoby Brissett. He's played well, but he has not played a defense like the Jacksonville Jaguars yet this year. And Jacksonville Jaguars, they proved one thing so far this year. Aside from playing excellent defense, this is a team that knows how to get after the quarterback. And, dude, he's going to be running for his life. And guess what? Leonard Fournette may not be at 100% because of that ankle injury, but he's going to be running all over this Colts team. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars getting a big win against the Colts. What about you, Alex?
So it's the week for the Jaguars. They're good every other week, so they're supposed to be good this week. And, when they're good, it's on the back of Leonard Fournette, who continues to impress every single week. He's completely changed the dynamic of that offense to where they don't have to rely on that old Pete Sampras-looking Blake Bortles to win football games. So against the Indianapolis Colts defense, which isn't very good against the run, they're kind of middle of the road. And by the way, they're the worst defensive unit in football right now in terms of points scored against. I think Leonard Fournette is going to have a great game. They won't have to rely on Blake Bortles that much. As for the Colts, it's still Jacoby Brissett in the driver's seat. You said he has the keys to Ferrari. I think it's the keys to a Ford Pinto. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is bad as a starter. He's not the worst starter we've seen in the NFL in the last 5 years or anything like that. But he's not Andrew Luck, and I think Andrew Luck's going to get shut down for the year, to be honest with you. I think they're going to be really cautious with it, and there's really no sense in bringing back Andrew Luck at 2-5, right? So I have the Jaguars here, and I have them covering the spread.
Okay. Great one.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars as well. I honestly think if they consistently keep putting the ball in Leonard Fournette's hands, I love me some Blake Bortles, but sometimes he just be making some crazy turnovers. But if they keep the ball in Leonard Fournette's hands, I think they can run their way to the playoffs and win this game, honestly. And they play great defense. They get after the quarterback, so they have the perfect recipe to be successful. So I'm going with the Jags.
You're going with the Jags. Okay, so we're all on the Vikings and we're all on the Jags. Okay, here's where things get interesting. I feel like we're going to split here as well. We have the 3-3 New York Jets, or what was that name that you gave him, Alex? I liked it so much. What was that? The New York Tanks. The 3-3 New York Tanks versus the 3-2 Miami Dolphins. I know Great One DeVore's got an opinion on this because he's a big Miami Dolphins fan, but let me go ahead and say the Atlanta Falcons choked again. They choked a big lead, a 17-point lead. Miami Dolphins were down 17 points, and Jay Cutler said, "You know what, Coach? Hold my cigarette. I got this. I got this." You know, he went out there and did his thing with that. Not just him, but like that whole offense was clicking. You know, Jarvis Landry, you know, Jay Ajayi, everyone just started clicking. They got a great road win. How about the way they won? Rashad Jones getting the game-winning interception. It was quite nice.
You gotta say his name right, please. Please say his name right.
I just said Rashad Jones. Is that not how you say it?
The best safety in the league, Rashad.
Okay. The best safety in the league, Rashad Jones. There you go. He got the game-winning interception. Great road win. This could give this team some momentum going forward. And last week, the Jets continue to play at a very high level, but they're losing by such a small margin every single game. They really competed. They gave the New England Patriots a run for their money last week. But that Miami defense right now, they're playing at too high of a level not to win this one. I'm taking Miami winning at home. Alex?
So the New York Jets have been a bit more impressive than I thought they would this year. And they did look really good against the Patriots last week. But they are playing on the road. They haven't been great on the road this year. If you look at their game against the Bills and the Raiders, they did not look good in either one of those games. The only road win they have is against the Browns, but I think anybody can go into Cleveland and beat the Browns at this point. Dolphins looked a little bit better last week, especially in the second half. Jay Cutler actually started moving the ball up and down the field. That Dolphins offense looked better. So with them playing at home, I have them winning and covering the spread. If you're looking for a good fantasy play, I think Jay Cutler's a good option. If you're desperate for a quarterback, he's going to put up points. Even if they lose in garbage time, Jay Cutler does put up points. Jay Ajayi's another really good one. Dolphins D might be a sneaky good play as well. And then on the Jets, I'd pretty much stay away from anybody on that squad right now.
Stay away from any and all Jets. Actually, it's funny that you picked out Jay Cutler. I wouldn't even have said him because, in my opinion, I think Jets are playing a good defense, or playing a very good brand of defense, but we'll see. Jay Cutler could be the play. We'll see how that works. Great One DeVore?
I want to say y'all got to call Jay Cutler by his real name. Jay Cuddy Lose. That's his Miami Dolphin nickname. Jay Cuddy Lose. That's his name. So,
okay.
I look back at the Week 3 game when we faced the Jets. I honestly thought that they caught us off guard. Just like, we didn't think the Jets were going to be anything. They just like, a bottom feeder.
As they are every year.
Us being at home, don't forget we was on that long road trip, 4 straight games on the road.
Yeah.
We're going to be at home, rested. We just come off of a great win against the Falcons. I'm taking the Miami Dolphins. You know what? We're going to commit some turnovers. So, I agree with you, Alex. The Miami Dolphins defense, that's the way to go on fantasy.
Okay. So we are all on the Miami Dolphins. Next up, we got the 3-2 New Orleans Saints going to Green Bay. The Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay Packers sitting at 4-2 right now. Let's see if they can stay keeping that winning record now that Aaron Rodgers is out. I will say this. When Aaron Rodgers went out during that game last week against the Vikings and Brett Hundley got put into the game, he finished that game 18 of 33, 157 yards, and 1 touchdown. So not terrible. According to all numbers, thoroughly average. But maybe that's all this team needs. Maybe all it takes is an average quarterback to commandeer this team into victory. The thing is, though, I don't think he can do it all himself. They have to get some kind of running game going for Hundley. We'll see if they can do that. I don't believe they can because, Ty Montgomery, he's not playing at 100%, obviously. And the rest of their guys, it's like a musical chairs right now at their running back position. They don't know who their number one guy is. New Orleans, on the other hand, many will say that this is not a team that plays well outdoors. But the fact remains that that Saints defense is playing better and better every week. I've got the Saints. I know it's weird to say. I got the Saints going to Green Bay and winning this week. I'm taking the Saints. Alex?
I think the Packers season is over. I know that a lot of people are saying that, and I'm, one of those people just going with the masses, but I think this is just too much to overcome. The Packers have overcome injury after injury after injury on the back of Aaron Rodgers. Now he's gone for the season. Yep. I mean, I'd pack it in, no pun intended, try to get a good draft pick. Hunley looks decent. I don't think he's going to win ball games for him. I know he looked really good in the preseason. I know he's getting first team's reps in practice this week for the first time. That's great. I just don't think that they're going to be able to go against the Saints, who play a style of offense where you got to get into a shootout with them. This is not the game for the Packers to have their backup quarterback in. I'm taking the Saints. I think they're going to cover the 5.5-point spread. Not often you go into Green Bay with a 5.5-point spread.
No.
But the Saints are going in there with that as a favorite. I do think in terms of fantasy, I say it every week, but if Willie Snead plays, he's a really good play. I really think he's going to have a good year. Michael Thomas, another great play. Mark Ingram, I think he'll have another strong week here. The Packers bring a lot of looks where you have 5 and 6 defensive backs. Mm-hmm. They play a very small brand of defense. They don't have a lot of they don't stack 8 in the box. So Ingram could have a really good game here too. And then on the Packers, I'd stay away from everybody. I got burnt really bad with Randall Cobb last week. Don't play anybody on the Packers offense. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Okay. Great one.
At this rate, I got the Browns getting their first dub against the Packers. But yeah, looking at this game, I think the Packers are done. And people underrate the New Orleans Saints defense. Like there's not going to be no shooting out with the Saints anymore. Drew Brees, they're going to have to put up more than 30 points because the defense, they're stepping up and they're making plays.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and go with the New Orleans Saints.
You are taking the Saints. Okay, so we're all on the Saints as well. Is it too early to say rest in peace Packers? I don't know. We might. Alex might need to come up with a tank-related term for them this year too. I'm looking forward to that for sure. He's my nickname guy. He's a creative genius. So we got the 2-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 3-2 Buffalo Bills. There's quite a little bit of intrigue surrounding this game. I saw Alex tweet at me during in the midst of that NFL Sunday madness, saying, "Hey, Double R, maybe we should discuss some conspiracy theories revolving around Jameis Winston." Before I even get into my picks, Alex, please speak your mind. What is this? Why was he pulled? Why did they bring Ryan Fitzpatrick in? In your opinion, what is the controversy here?
Well, I think the controversy stems from people on Twitter talking about things that they really don't have full information on. So I noticed that Jameis Winston left the game. They were very clear. This is a shoulder-related injury, and he went to the locker room. And all of a sudden you see people on Twitter, and a lot of people, by the way, who were saying that it was a fake injury brought on and propagated by the coaching staff to say this is our excuse to bring Ryan Fitzpatrick in because the Bucs were down by so much. Now, here's where I'm going to take the tinfoil hat off and tell everybody the reality of this. You don't go to the locker room with a fake injury. If you get benched, you get benched.
Right.
There's no playing nice in the NFL. If you get benched, they're going to tell you, hey, you got benched. And they're pretty clear about that too with the media. So when he came back out and he was throwing on the sideline, people then started saying, oh, it's like his way of showing the fans, I didn't get hurt. I'm throwing on the sideline. Put me in, coach, But and that furthered the conspiracy. But they did find out that there was an injury to the throwing shoulder. There is no conspiracy. And then also the argument that he was brought out of the game because they were down by so much. Jameis Winston has played in some really ugly games, and they've kept him in all the way through the game. Most notably, a year ago when they were playing the Cardinals, the same team, they were getting blown out, and they kept Jameis Winston in the game to the point where the commentators were actually saying, why are they risking injury with this guy? So right. I thought the conspiracy was kind of funny, but it worth discussing on the show. So thanks for letting me bring it up.
No problem, no problem. And I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists, guys. I genuinely believe, and the facts prove it, Jameis Winston was replaced because he got banged up. There is a throwing shoulder injury that he sustained in that game. That's what caused Fitzpatrick to come in. So I don't believe in the whole, oh, he was benched because Fitzpatrick is better, because that itself is not a fact. What is a fact is the Bucs right now are playing back-to-back road games. Bucs defense, maybe I need to jump off their defense bandwagon. I was all on the Buccaneers defense bandwagon thinking, hey, man, this defense is for real. They're a bunch of nasty dogs on defense. They get after it. They didn't look too great last week against Arizona. Look at the first drive. Adrian Peterson broke off. How many yards was that, Alex, for that first touchdown run? Was that 30, 40? Something like that.
It was a big one.
Ooh, that was nasty.
Dude, maybe I was wrong with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll see. With that being said, though, the Buffalo Bills are coming off of a bye, and they are a very rested up bunch, and they actually are a defensive monster to play against. Alex, you're going to hate me for this, but I am taking the Bills winning at home in this matchup. So, and my start of this game, it's got to be the Bills' defense special teams. They're going to have some takeaways. Lately in our league, in our fantasy league, they've been averaging roughly 18 to 25 points per contest. So they are a pretty solid start. If you have them on defense, and they're available in a lot of leagues right now, so pick up the Buffalo defense special teams if you can. Alex?
So this is a tough week, man. I think that if it wasn't for the injury, I'd be saying, hey, the Bucs have a really good shot here on the road. But, with Jameis Winston hurt and the offense showing some warts early on in the season, and that defense did not look good in the first half of that Arizona game, I look at the Bills, and they've been surprising this year. They're playing good defense. They're running the ball. They're even passing better than most people expected. So, I mean, as much as it hurts me to say this, I'm going with the Bills because they're playing at home. And I think that defense is going to give whoever plays quarterback for the Bucs a hard time, whether that's Ryan Fitzpatrick or Jameis Winston. Even if Winston plays, I don't think he's 100%. That hurts as well. So taking the Bills at home, I'd stay away from anybody on the Bucs offense if you can avoid it. Although you got to say, like Mike Evans, if you have him, you have to start him every week, Yeah. You could probably even say that about Deshaun Jackson as well. Always a good flex play, but if you can avoid playing either one of those guys because of the uncertainty, I would do that. And then on the Bills, Shady McCoy, I think, is in line for a very big game. Adrian Peterson had a great game. McCoy's in his prime. Start McCoy if you got him.
There you have it. All right. Great one, DeVore.
Well, regardless who the starting quarterback is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucs, and here's why. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary, and you look at the Buffalo Bills, their leading receiver, which is Charles Clay, he's going to be out with a torn meniscus, and not really the leading receiver. LaShawn McCoy is the leading receiver with 27 receptions, and Charles Clay has 20. So the next leading receiver after that is Jordan Matthews with 10 catches. So with that being said, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, basically all you have to do is focus on stopping the run, but also keeping you guys' turnovers down to a minimum. If Ryan Fitzpatrick does play, because he like to throw average of seven interceptions a game. But
shots fired.
I'm going to go ahead and roll with Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, okay.
I need that dub. We got to catch up in the AFC East. I need that.
Okay. You got a little bit of inside interest in this game. I see you, bro. Next up, we got the 4-2 Carolina Panthers taking on the 2-4 Windy City Flyers Chicago Bears, a team that got their second win of their year last week on the back of my Baltimore Ravens. This is a team that I believe is starting to be the real deal. Like I said, I tweeted this out in the first quarter last week against the Ravens and Bears game. I said, hey, is it too soon to say the Bears are who we thought they were? Dude, Trubisky, maybe he has proven himself. He's now gotten a home start and an away start and done pretty well in both those games. And now Trubisky has won his first game as an NFL starter in an away game. He's going to have his work cut out for him this week, though, because he faces a very, very tough defensive front four in the Panthers and a very defensive, tough secondary for the Panthers. Will John Fox open up this playbook to Trubisky? Right now, what they're running so far through these first 6 weeks, actually, for the last couple of weeks, is they haven't really opened up the playbook to Trubisky. The play call has been very simplistic. But it works. It's simple, but it works. I'm interested to see if they'll let him run some of those other plays that that will require opening up the playbook to him. Carolina Panthers have not played a single football game in 10 days, and when they did play, they played pretty poorly. The defense played pretty poorly against the Philadelphia Eagles. However, the Bears are not the Eagles. I have Carolina winning this one handedly. I know it's in Chicago. I know that stadium gets loud, but I do have the Carolina Panthers winning this one. My start of this game, if you have Cam Newton, start him. If you have Carolina Panthers defense, start them. That's it. That's who I'm going with. Alex?
So the Panthers are really proving a lot of people wrong. They looked really rough at the beginning of the season. Now they don't look so rough around the edges, both on offense and defense. The Bears, I get that they have Trubisky. I get that he won last week. It wasn't a quality win. I'm still not sold on him being ready as an NFL starter. I guess we're going to find out this week when he goes against the 7th-ranked pass defense in the league. Mm-hmm. And then when you look at points scored against, which is what I always look at, they're tied for 9th. It's going to be a really tough matchup for a rookie. I have the Panthers winning this one, covering the 3-point spread. And I would start, like you said, Double R, Panthers D, good play. Cam Newton, that'd be another really good play. And any receiver on the Panthers would also be a good one.
Okay, great one.
Looking at the Carolina Panthers D, they're going to be without Luke Kuechly. Last week he had the concussion. I believe that's his 4th concussion. The defense doesn't play the same when Kuechly's not in there. Honestly, I would start Jordan Howard on fantasy, the running back for the Chicago Bears, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to edge that one out.
Okay, so we're all on the Panthers then. We're not buying the Chicago Bears hype yet. Maybe after this week if they get the win, but as of right now, we're staying with the facts and going with the Carolina Panthers. Alrighty. The 3-3 Tennessee Titans taking on still winless Cleveland Browns. Will they remain winless? That's the big question in this game. Tennessee playing on a very short week. As you guys know, they played on Monday Night Football. This is a very short week for them. And they have played terrible on defense. If DeShone Kizer plays, which the team has not announced yet, the Cleveland Browns have not announced who the starting quarterback for this game is. If DeShone Kizer plays, he might keep the score close. Hogan looked absolutely terrible last week. I don't know why they even benched Kizer in the first place. Hogan has not been much of an improvement at all. In fact, he's been worse than Kizer. This, for all intents and purposes, from the outset, appears to be the prototypical trap game for Tennessee. All right, Tennessee, like I said, the defense looks terrible, and Kizer, if he's starting again, might have a little bit something more to prove. Like, hey, you guys made a mistake benching me last week, and this is why. I'm about to beat the Tennessee Titans. But my pick is not the Browns. I'm taking the Titans. I baited you guys. I'm going to actually go with the Tennessee Titans. Mariota killed it last week, and I think he'll kill it this week too. I'm taking Mariota. He's in fantasy. I'm gonna go ahead and start him against the Cleveland Browns defense. That's my pick. Alex?
I got to say, I really liked your little scenario about DeShone Kizer saying you made a mistake and you shouldn't have benched me. Talk about a dream scenario for DeShone Kizer. I just don't see that happening. He is going to start this week. They announced that late this afternoon. But I don't think it's going to end well for the Browns. The old saying, basically, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So I'm going with the Titans in this one.
Okay. He's also on the Titans. Great one, DeVore.
Titans, no explanation needed.
Really? No, that's it?
My feet are on the table.
You're going to completely You're going to completely discount the Cleveland Browns, saying that there's no way that they win at home and get their first win. You're completely discounting that. Okay.
Yep. I feel bad for that lady at the Giant that be wearing that Deshaun Kaiser stitch on it.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. So no explanation needed, says Great One DeVore. He's going to go all in on the Titans. Okay. I got you. So we got the 2 and 3 Dallas Cowboys versus the still winless 49ers. San Francisco 49ers. Dallas Cowboys, by the way, will have Ezekiel Elliott at their disposal. As it stands, as of an article I read this morning during my lunch break at work, Zeke is cleared to play in the NFL until October 30th. After that, it's kind of murky waters. We don't know. Could the suspension take place? There's still talks of maybe the suspension getting postponed to next year and being weeks 1 through 6 of the 2018 season. We don't know. But what's guaranteed is he's playing until October 30th of this year. As I said earlier, 49ers still have not won a single game yet. But, like the Jets, they've kept all the games close. They have not been shut out or demolished on a scoreboard. They've kept all these games close. They've lost all their games on margins of 3 to 10 points, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. This week, though, CJ Beathard, I don't know how you pronounce that. They got a new starting quarterback, in other words. He's getting his first NFL start. He has Pierre Garçon. He's got some weapons. He's got Carlos Hyde. Will he use those and kind of use the system he's in to manufacture a win for the San Francisco 49ers playing at home against the Dallas Cowboys? My answer is no. I'm going to say Ezekiel Elliott, if you got him in fantasy, start him. Dak Prescott, start him. Those two guys, especially Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to be playing this game like it's his last, and probably because it could be. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys winning big in 49ers territory, giving their 7th loss, and the 49ers remain winless. Alex?
Yeah, I really am not going to say too much about the 49ers. I still have some serious concerns about them as a football team, whether they're going to be able to remain competitive at all this year. They're kind of like the Browns. I just don't see them winning many games. Cowboys got Elliott this week, and for at least the foreseeable future, I have them winning this one big. I think they're going to run all over the 49ers, even if, like, let's just say Elliott didn't play. Right. I think their backups in Alfred Morris and McFadden would have really good games. Dak Prescott's a solid fantasy play. Dez Bryant would be another really good one. Cole Beasley, if you got him, that's a good start too.
Yeah.
Jason Witten, basically anybody on the Cowboys offense is a solid play this week. Okay.
Great one.
Nothing will please me more than pick against the Cowboys, but it's very, very hard to do. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Cowboys too. Okay. But Dak is going to have to step up and make some big plays for them to win this game, because I think everybody knows the winning formula to beating the Cowboys. You got to ball up Zeke, have Dak win the game for you. But I honestly think the Cowboys go win this game, even though I hate to say it.
Okay. Okay, so we're all on the Cowboys then. The 49ers, we're saying they're not going to win this. They're going to go 0-7 this week. Gotcha. We got 3-2 Seattle Seahawks going into Giants territory. Big Blue, 1-5 New York Giants. Giants getting out their first win of the year last week on Sunday night against Denver. For once, we saw them play phenomenal defense throughout the entire game, not just garbage time in the fourth quarter, but throughout the entire game, playing phenomenal defense. They finally got the run game to work, which is what me and Alex have been saying all through this podcast so far, through week 6, is the Giants lack a running game. They got one now, and it's working quite well. They are going up this week against a very, very banged-up Seattle defense. Seattle is coming off of a bye, and they're taking a long road trip to get to New York. However, I'm not really buying into the hype of the Giants. Yeah, they had a great run game. They had a great defense last week. The defense, maybe I'll give them some credit, because there's not much variance when it comes to defense. They either play well or they play bad. Whereas the running game, That situation is a little bit suspect to me. But so it's the same case for the Seattle Seahawks. Both these teams have a very suspect running game. I think it's going to come down to QB play. Whose quarterback performs the best? My thing is, I'm taking Russell Wilson over Eli Manning right now. Right now, that's my pick. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks winning this game. And actually, Russell Wilson is my key start in fantasy this week. So that's my pick. Alex?
So I am with you. I don't think that the Giants are going to somehow rebound from all those injuries. I still think that they're going to have a hard time overcoming all the losses, specifically at the wide receiver position, even though that's not the full extent of it. Seahawks, obviously on the road playing in New York, that's a little bit of a concern. But with the Giants missing guys on defense like Olivier Vernon, and all the wide receiver losses, I have no choice but to take the Seahawks here, even though the fan base can sometimes annoy me, and I would love for them to lose to the Giants. But
ain't that the truth? I hear you.
But yeah, I got the Seahawks here. Russell Wilson would be a really good play. I would also say anybody in the Seattle running game is also a good play because they might jump out to a lead early and kind of switch down to that run.
Okay. Great one, DeVore.
Looking at the New York Giants, they haven't fixed that offensive line, and I think the Seattle Seahawks defensive front is going to get after Eli Manning. But side note, if you're going to start somebody on the Giants, start Evan Ingram. He's like the only weapon for the Giants for Eli to throw the ball to. So expect big numbers from him. But I'm going to go ahead and pick the Seattle Seahawks too as well.
Seattle Seahawks. Okay. So we're all in the Seattle Seahawks. I'm liking the trend that I'm seeing here. Maybe that trend ends on this next one, though. Boy, if there was a way for both of these guys to lose. We've got the 2-3 Cincinnati Bengals going into Pittsburgh. The 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers, that is. If there was a way for both these two teams to lose, that would be beautiful. But we know it's not going to happen. This is going to be a tough AFC North battle. Cincinnati's coming off of a bye. They have now won 2 straight games. Cincinnati is a handful defensively. They're a tough bunch to go up against, and no one knows it better than Big Ben. He's faced them multiple times. He knows what they're capable of. But they can also be a handful offensively. They have a lot of weapons for Andy Dalton to utilize in that offensive system that they have. Pittsburgh last year, as a Ravens fan, I have to say this. This is, you can call this eating crow or whatever. I'm just calling it as it is. I'm a stat guy. Numbers, are black and white. That's what I'm looking at. And the numbers say that Pittsburgh, despite giving Kansas City given their first loss of the year, Pittsburgh actually looks really good. They are finally giving Le'Veon Bell. It looks like he's no longer grounded. Le'Veon Bell is no longer grounded. They are using him like they normally use him. Le'Veon Bell looked really good. However, right now they're kind of riding the game on Le'Veon Bell, whereas the passing game is just not working too well for Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh really needs to get that passing game going. They have a real test this week, though. Like I said, Cincinnati defense, very tough to pass on. They'll make you pay. They got, what's his name? Pac-Man Jones out there. That dude's crazy to play against. He's like a million years old, but he still plays like he's 18. That dude's a legend. Dude, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a very good game, but I am giving a slight edge to Pittsburgh. I think Big Ben finally gets out of his funk. He's been in a funk. Whether you want to appreciate that or believe in it or not, he's been in a funk. He's not been playing like Big Ben lately. But I think in this game, he kind of rejuvenates a little bit and gets back to it. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers, and my start for this game in fantasy, AB and Le'Veon Bell. What else do you need? What other keys to success do you need when you have those two guys? That's my pick. Alex?
So this is one of the more one-sided rivalries in sports, in my opinion. If you look at the Bengals versus the Steelers since 2000, the Steelers are 27-9 against the Bengals. And as you get later in the year, the record usually gets a little bit worse for the Bengals. In the last 10 meetings, the Bengals have only won 3. So Bengals are coming in, playing on the road, going against one of the best pass defenses in the league. Yeah. Right now, the best defense in the league in terms of scoring in the Steelers totally surprises me, but at this point in the season, we have to believe it. Like, that's a really good D. The Bengals have struggled on offense, and they always seem to have A.J. Green's number. So if you have A.J. Green, don't start him this game. He never plays well against the Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers in this one, and if you're looking for a fantasy play, Le'Veon Bell's your man.
There you go, my man. Great one, DeVore.
It's a very hard one for me to call. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with Cincinnati underdog.
Oh, okay.
Just because of the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is not playing well, I'm gonna need another week for me to see if Pittsburgh is legit or not. Offensively, and be consistent in running the ball with Le'Veon. But my boy Dandy Don, he gonna get it done at Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right. So going a little bit against the grain here. Just to give you an idea, right now there's 9% consensus among people who place their picks. 9% of the people believe the Cincinnati Bengals will win this game. Just putting that out there. Great one, DeVore, obviously fitting in that population of 9%.
That's my foot on the table type pick, like I did last year for the Falcons and Dolphins.
Okay. A fun fact before I say anything else on my picks, usually I have a slam dunk game, like a team that I know for sure 100% is going to win this week. Week 7 so far is difficult for me because I don't have a slam dunk pick. I looked over the schedule multiple times. There is no slam dunk pick here to be made, not in my opinion. So now we're getting into the late afternoon games. We got the 3-2 Denver Broncos going up against the LA Chargers, 2-4 LA Chargers. Broncos, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, just lost a big game against the Giants, giving the Giants their first win. And for good reason. Broncos are banged up offensively. Trevor Siemian, guys like Emmanuel Sanders. What this is going to cause to happen is the same thing that's going on in Baltimore. When the offense sucks, there's too much pressure put on the defense. They're going to put all the pressure on this Denver defense, and I don't think it's going to go well for them. LA Chargers have now won 2 straight games. They're kind of getting in the groove. They got their flow going. Maybe positive mojo, I don't know. Phillip Rivers is going to take command in this game. And he's going to feed the ball to Melvin Gordon. And this is going to be one of the most competitive AFC West games that I think we're ever going to watch. The 2-4 versus 3-2 might not show it, but I think it's going to be very competitive. Like I said, I'm taking Phillip Rivers, however I pronounce that. I'm taking Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon against a banged-up Denver Broncos defense and secondary. That's my pick. And my pick in this game, Melvin Gordon. If you're not starting him in this game, you're crazy. That's my pick. Alex?
So I really like the Chargers despite their record. I know they're 2-4, but I really thought this team was going to make a little bit more noise than they have this year. So going into a home game where they've played a little bit better at home this year, I think they have a really good shot against the Broncos. Last time I checked, there wasn't a line on this game. It was pretty much even. And then some places even have the Chargers as a favorite here, which is a little bit shocking. Broncos didn't look so hot last week. And these games, they're division games. They're always fun to watch, but they always get, they're always really close between these two teams. So yeah. I have the Chargers winning this one in a close one. And if you're looking for a fantasy play, I'm going to go with double R. Melvin Gordon's a really good play. Phillip Rivers has been really good all year, really consistent. Won't blow you away, but he'll put up points.
Right. Okay. Great one.
Due to the injuries on the Denver Broncos defense, and I just don't believe in Trev, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Los Angeles Chargers. It's like Young Wei Koo not on the team no more, so we ain't got to rely on the kicker anymore.
Interesting. So this is actually the first time. I'm going to show you guys something. This is the first time in the history of us doing this podcast where all three, both me, my co-host, and our guest host, go against the grain. Look at this, 26% consensus that the Chargers will win this game. We're going to all three against the game. This has never happened on the podcast before. I knew this was going to happen, but that's what it is. We're all on the Chargers, winning at home. Now, going down to our Sunday night game. Boy, do we have a good one. Get your 28-3 memes out, boys. Atlanta, 3-2 going into Foxborough. 4-2 New England Patriots. Dude, you're going to see so many Super Bowl references in this game. It's going to totally blow your mind. And I think I'm totally over that 28-3 meme personally. Last time these two met was in the Super Bowl, and the thing that caused the Patriots to win was Tom Brady. Expect that to be the game plan again in this one. Atlanta has not been the same offensively this year. By the way, side note, Atlanta, if you're up in the second half against the Patriots, run the ball. That's probably a good idea. You want to run the ball. New England defense, though, they don't look good. They are a perfect tonic for any ailing offense right now, as it may seem. Just ask Cam Newton from a few weeks ago. He tore them up. However, New England statistically is a different animal when they're playing at home. They are a scary bunch playing at home. They'll fire on all currency. They got the Panthers, or not the Panthers, the Patriots fans yelling at the top of their lungs. New England is not an easy place to win. I don't care who you are. I'm taking New England in this one. And my pick in this one has got to be Tom Brady. Some guys think he might have lost it, but I think he still got it. I'm taking Tom Brady and the Patriots. Alex, you didn't seem too pleased with that pick, so let me hear you out.
Well, I hope you guys are ready for it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you're ready for it.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the PurpleSwordfish upset special of the week, because I have the Falcons here, and I think that they're going to try and take back the crown. And by the crown, I mean the #1 spot in the NFC. A win here would cement their position back as the #1 team in the NFC. I think after last week's loss being reminiscent of the Super Bowl, and then obviously the Super Bowl, they're ready to get this monkey off their back. So I have them winning this one on the backs of Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman, and to a lesser extent, Tevin Coleman against that very porous New England defense. I also think that Julio Jones, as much as they're going to throw different looks at him, Bill Belichick always does that. He always throws looks that you're not expecting at leading wide receivers. I think Julio Jones will still have a very, very good game. I have the Falcons in an upset.
Wow. Okay. Not crazy when you think about it, but that is quite an upset. What about you, Great One?
I'm pretty sure the Atlanta Falcons circled this game like, this is our get-back game. And looking at the New England Patriots defense, they not looking too great. They're giving up over 30 points a game. Julio Jones is going to have a field day. Start him on your fantasy team if you got him. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Falcons, too. I need to get the Patriots to pile up some losses.
Man, okay. Well, I better start seeing some apology tweets this Sunday night if the Patriots start winning, okay, from both of you guys.
I didn't even get mine for the Dolphins for last week, so I'm not giving you nothing.
Okay, all right. The final game for Week 7, and it's a good one, too. Washington, 3-2 versus the 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles playing at home. Right now, Eagles are the class of the NFC right now, in my opinion. Hard to see a better team in NFC than them right now. I think with a win here against the Redskins, this is their second time playing the Redskins, obviously. They played them in Week 1, and that was on the road in Washington. I think they'll do a lot better playing at home in Philly. But if they win this game, Philadelphia can really put a stronghold on an NFC East running to the playoffs. Philadelphia's Eagles defense is just scary. We talk about them being animals on defense. That is the case in Philly. They got Fletcher Cox. They got guys like Curry. They got Graham. This is a bunch that can get after the quarterback. Sorry, I mean, I've always hyped up Kirk Cousins, but Kirk, this week is not your week. Especially when you got a guy like Jim Shorts who likes to dial up these wide 9 offenses, which are terrible for quarterbacks. Philadelphia Eagles are going to eat that up. You want to go wide 9? They're going for your quarterback. Like I said, never a good thing for the quarterback. I'm taking the Eagles winning at home in a big one. My start is pretty much anybody for Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone from the quarterback down to the defense special teams. Take Philly if you got it. What about you, Alex?
So I was talking about the crown for the best team in the NFC, and I was talking about it a lot on Twitter. If you missed it, you can follow me At Swordfish Show, shameless plug. But anyway, yeah, the Eagles, I think they moved from the second best team in the NFC to the best. I think they've been the most consistent week in, week out in the NFC. I think they can earn a week 1 bye, make some damage happen in the playoffs. So Carson Wentz playing lights out, continues to impress each and every week. I know there's a lot of talk. It's actually become, this is how you know he's great. It's become fun for people to talk about how overrated he's been. So like when people are talking about how overrated you are, you're usually doing something right. I have the Eagles winning this one over the Redskins, who are doing well this year, but I still think the Eagles, no doubt, best team in their division, best team in the NFC. If you're looking for somebody to play, Alshon Jeffrey is a really good one. Carson Wentz, obviously a very good play. And then finally, I would say Zach Ertz. He's been very surprising.
And he's been quiet too.
He's getting a lot of red zone targets though.
Yes.
And I like that. So you want that from a tight end. So those would be my 3 picks in fantasy.
Okay. Great one, DeVore.
This game is important to me. People don't give Carson Wentz enough credit. I don't know why they don't. They just keep on saying he's overrated. I agree with you, Purple Swordfish. But yeah, go ahead and start everybody on the Philadelphia Eagles receiving core. And please just barbecue Kendall Fuller. That'll make my day. Barbecue Kendall Fuller, the corner, number 29. Please barbecue him.
A little bit of animosity there, Great one, DeVore.
Hey, that's a friend of the family, you know.
Okay. All right, so you're taking the Philadelphia Eagles as well.
Yes.
So this is the portion of our podcast now where we start taking call-ins. If you want to call in, you want to make a comment, if you have a question for me, Alex, or Great One DeVore, for anyone, if you have any questions generally, feel free to call in. This is your time. In Discord, we have a special lobby, a voice chat lobby set up that's called NTL Show Call-ins. Jump in there and we'll pull you in. That's how it's going to be week in, week out. I do believe we have one caller waiting by the name of Aid Munchies. What's going on, Aid Munchies?
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good.
Do you have a question or comment?
Well, to go to the NFC North, I think that Mitchell Trubisky's been playing pretty decent football for, half his receivers pretty much being out.
Okay.
And I think losing Aaron Rodgers for the Packers is not only kind of done for the Packers season, but it's also a huge motivation loss. They lost their best player. So I think,
they lost their general and their leader, of course. I agree with that.
So I don't think they're going to be playing the best football next week.
You don't think so, huh?
No.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think we all picked against the Packers this week. We're all taking the Saints. Am I correct? I don't remember what Great One DeVore picked, or Alex. Did you guys go against the Packers?
I did.
Great One?
This week?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I took the Browns, and they don't even play until like 4 weeks.
Yeah, so... Yeah, no, our picks are in line with that. What you just said, the Packers are losing their leader. They lost their leader, and I don't know if they can do it without him, honestly. So, hey, prove me wrong.
Carson Wentz for MVP.
Carson Wentz for MVP. We'll see how that goes. They need to win some more games in order for that to happen, though. But yeah, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, bro. All right, so thank you to everyone who came through. Big shout out to my co-host, Alex, a.k.a. Purple Swordfish. Remember, his links are all below, his Twitter, his YouTube channel, everything. Please give him a sub, give him a follow. Great One DeVore, tell us again how we can find your content on YouTube, for those of you guys who haven't heard of him.
On my YouTube channel, like to do a lot of Miami Dolphins sports talk. There's a lot of streaming as well. You started that, Ray and Ravy just made that kind of like a trend. But I'm open to play anybody as long as they have the Xbox One. Mike, not really an issue.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. His link is also down below. Appreciate everyone who came through. We will see you next week as we cover Week 8 of the NFL Talk Live podcast. This is me, Reigning Ravens 1, and Alex, PurpleSwordfish, and Great One Devore, checking on out. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of NFL Talk Live with Reigning Ravens 1 and Alex, aka Purple Swordfish, streaming weekly on the YouTube channel Reigning Ravens 1 with all the audio archives on SoundCloud. Follow Reigning Ravens 1 on Twitter at Reigning Ravens 1 and follow Alex on Twitter at Swordfish Show. If you'd like to be part of the live call-in on the next episode, make sure to join the Discord server. This podcast is sponsored by Jerky XP. Save money on your order at the checkout by using the code RR1. We'll catch you next time on NFL Talk Live.